I'm Dane Vernon. I'm second generation newspaper publisher at the Eldon Advertiser. My father, Wallace Vernon, bought the newspaper in the late 1940s. I went to college at the University of Missouri and got a journalism degree, and then I came back to Eldon, and I've been in the family business ever since.
The Eldon Advertiser started in 1894. George Weeks, the founder of Eldon, was actually the first subscriber to the newspaper. My grandfather bought a share in 1948. Through the years, he bought out Carl Winter, and I am now the third generation. The purpose of the Eldon Advertiser is to promote the community. We do this through photos, advertisements, and stories, obviously.
If someone walks into the newspaper office with a story idea, they'll generally talk to a reporter. The reporter will take that information, figure out who they need to contact or where they need to go to add to that, verify the facts. The reporter will gather all that information together. They'll sit down at their computer. After the reporter writes it, the editor will read it over and look for missing facts or information that's not complete, something that he has a question on. If there are two sides to a story, the editor will often make the reporter go back and get the other side so that we're not just giving one side.
That's probably what makes us different from social media. Instead of instant gratification, quick story, we dive into it and figure out what's going on and give you the most accurate truth that we can get to.
After the editor's done with it and it is rewritten, it'll go to a proofreader. Then the story will go to a layout person. That layout person will decide whether it should be a vertical story or horizontal, how big the headline should be on it, and which page it will go on in the newspaper. Those pages can be laid out just on a computer screen. Here at our offices, though, we still print them out, and we do kind of a dummy layout on a sheet of paper, so it just gives us an idea of what it's going to look like when it's done. After that page is laid out, then it's sent to a plate-making machine.
The process starts with a polyester plate, and the plate is bent first and then goes on the press. And once it goes on the press, we have a black and white side and we have a color side. The color side has 4 colors. It starts with cyan, which is a blue, magenta, which is a red, and yellow, and then black finishes it off. The rolls of newsprint that we use are partially recycled newsprint, and they weigh 600 to 700 pounds. It looks like a giant toilet paper roll. Ink comes from the top rollers, water comes from the bottom to clean off the ink so we get a nice crisp, clean picture, and then it's smashed on the paper.
I got into the newspaper business because of my father. Obviously, growing up, I was around the newspaper business as long as I can remember. He already owned the newspaper with my mother before I was born. So my earliest memories are of him coming home late at night and having to go back to the office to write stories or get the paper printed. I started out inserting the different sections together by hand. Today we have machines that do all that.
The reason I came back to Eldon was because of the local community. We are a local newspaper, and we choose only to cover local issues. Community is what it's all about for us. Local, local, local. People continue to say that the newspaper industry is dying, but we don't think so. We think there is always going to be a need for local community news. We're not sure what form that will take in the future years, but we think we'll still be printing a newspaper, probably 50 to 100 years from now.